All right, so in this step, you guys are going to be creating your scene, creating your urban scene. Obviously, urban is city, not farm. So we're looking at old town, anything related to urban. When you gather your images, some helpful tips for your search online would be to use the search old streets of, and then just insert your city or town, or just simply streets of. It just depends on the vibe that you're going for. So using pieces and parts of at least 5 photos. All right. So you're looking to create a scene using cutouts from at least 5 different photographs. We're not just going to go and rip off an image from online and make art out of it. I don't really like the idea of using somebody else's photograph. Um, Now, if you cut out pieces and parts of like 5 photos to make your own urban scene, then it becomes more your art. Um, and then we will get to we'll talk more about that later. Make sure that you're creating the scene on a 13 by 19 inch, 300 resolution, transparent canvas. Um, or you can switch it to a 19 by 13, depends on if you want to work vertically or horizontally. That is entirely up to you. Wrong one. Whoop. Okay. So the parts or your cutouts must be relatively equal in size, not just 4 things added to one picture. So what you want to avoid is getting one picture and then cutting out 4 little things and putting it on there to get your 5. That's not going to count. You want your pieces to be relatively equal. They're not going to be equal. They're going to be relatively equal. Um, I'm going to show you an example of how I did mine here in a second. Do not worry about making nice selections. You're going to use the polygonal lasso tool for this, and your cutouts do not have to be perfect whatsoever. So you can see over here on the right all of the different images that I found online to create my final image, which is actually not here. These are just the cutouts that I used with the polygonal lasso tool. Let's see, what do I have here? And there's my finished urban scene. So I went from this to this. You can see the way far in the background on the hill, that village, came from these 2 pictures here. It's actually this one on the right is like I duplicated this one on the left and then flipped it. That's why it looks like this. So I could fill in all of the gaps. Do whatever works. Just keep working at it until you get the image that you're looking for. Now, let me talk a little bit about. Well, let me jump into Photoshop right quick and just sort of show you how these things are broken down. So, base layer. By the way, this is a 13 by 19 inch. Don't create your project using a background from the internet. You have to move the pieces to your canvas. And to show you, I'm going to pull this off, right click image size, and it says 19 by 13 300. That way I know that I use the correct size canvas. Okay. And then we have this one. And then we have this one. This is actually the one that I use most of right here. So this is what I mean by not equal, but sort of like relatively equal. I mean, this one's obviously a lot smaller. And then I replaced the one on the left with that. And then the background. And then I tossed in this lamp. The lamp is my 5th item. Obviously, it's not nearly as big as everything else, but that counts. You know what I mean? It counts. So this is the finished composition. I'm ready to make my artwork out of it. So I'm going to close out Photoshop then. I just wanted to show you how that works. Just minimize minimize it. Save. So let's go up here and do a search. I want you to avoid things like this. Chicago city. Yeah, you want to avoid creating urban scenes out of cityscapes from a distance. All of these are from a distance. This even right here is from a distance. You don't have a lot of surface area to put your textures because the project is about texture and the urban scene. We're putting the textures in the urban scene. These buildings they're too small, even though we know they're tall buildings, but in the photograph, they're too small and they're too far away. So you want to avoid. So if you want to do Chicago, what did I say here? Streets of, I'm going to use the word old because I think that old gives a lot of buildings with a lot of character. Old streets of Chicago. Oh, I can type today. And then you definitely want to do the tool size large for all of these. You don't want to use low res images right away. I'm not using the black and whites, but right away I'm loving this. The style of home. I forget what they're called. Brain's not working right now. Brownstone, that's what's called, brownstone houses. Something like this would be okay, but remember you're cutting it out, and you can't use the whole thing, right? You got 4 more images that you need. Let's just keep working through here. I'm not sure this one would be very good because the buildings again are just a little bit far away. This one's kind of close though. It's a close call. It's right on the cusp, right on the edge of too far away and close enough. This one could possibly work, actually. Right, just too far away. Look at vintage homes, vintage cars, I mean. Perfect. Okay. You can do stuff like this too, where it's bursting off of the canvas if you wanted to. Just literally just insert a different city. Paris. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of stuff. For some reason, European architecture is just so much more visually appealing than the architecture here in the US. And really, it's because it has history. The buildings are old. The buildings just look cool. They just do. Most students make this project out of a multitude of variety of pictures from European architecture. But not all. And that is not a requirement. Okay. But look, come on. Like, look at it's just better. Old streets of Paris. Let's go on and do, how about Rome? No, let's do, what's another old city in Italy? Another old city, Venice. Streets of Venice. Yeah, nice and close up. You could create a scene out of that easily. Look at the character. Oh my goodness. You will not find that anywhere in the US. Possibly, if you are interested and you want to stick in our country, then you could do New Orleans. They have some very interesting architecture. Lot of detail, though. That's the thing. If you choose to do something like New Orleans, a lot of detail. It's doable, though. I'll show you one more example before I move on. Amsterdam. Amsterdam. What about Eastern Europe? I'm not getting a lot here. Eastern European country. It's not Czechoslovakia. It's former Czech Republic. What is the form? My European history is definitely not good. Sweden. Cool. I like that a lot. Sweden, that's a good search. Hello. Definitely going to get a lot of character there. Oh my goodness, definitely. Look at this. Yes. That's a good one. Jump over to my folder. So I'm going to show you a few student works. So let's take a look at some finished works, but I want you to pretend these are like, look at the architecture. Don't look at the color or the texture or the lines or anything like that. Just I want you to look at their compositions. This one is kind of far away, but it works because there's a lot of room in the foreground up here to put textures in. So it works pretty good. For some reason, a lot of these have a lot. Oh, that's cool. A balcony in the foreground with a bridge in the background. Very nice. You can put people in. This one's interesting. I like this one. I remember the student, he pieced these different buildings together. There's some European architecture. That's from Chicago, and this is from Seattle. So, and then this clock is another image separate with an airplane. Nice composition, though. Really nice. Great texture. Alleyway, and then this one over here. He wanted to do something with the rich and the poor, sort of like a comparison of the lives, the homeless versus the millionaires out playing golf. I know this one got an award at an art show. Love this one. I thought it was Amsterdam, but it's some European country. They added a bridge from another image. They put people with very little detail. They put the lamps and copied the layer. Really successful, very successful composition. So just to get your brain cooking. I don't know. My only complaint, too many alleyways. I don't know, it just gets kind of boring. I don't know what he's pointing at. This one's great. Just the textures that are added make it looks like it's pouring rain. All right, so I think you have an idea on this step. Okay, again, don't worry about making nice cutouts. Here are the cutouts that I used. There's my finished piece. And that is the end of this screencast video. Thank you. And sorry it's so long.